Over the past few years, nearly 150,000 illegal migrants have crossed the English Channel. They've been picked up by British boats, placed in 4-star hotels, given free legal advice, and then allowed to settle in our country. It's as if to say, look how great we are as a nation. Yet, Parliament seems determined to give all that away and apologize for our past. My message is simple: we are a great country. If you do not like our history, our heritage, our culture, something's boiling in Britain, and Lee Anderson isn't holding back. His latest speech wasn't just a rant, it was a warning, a call to action, a voice for millions who feel ignored, overtaxed, and taken for granted. Anderson stood up and said what many are thinking. I want my country back. I want my country back. And the country I'm talking about would not tolerate stupidity. Back in the 80s and 90s in Ashfield, where I represent the capital of common sense, it's true, I live there. If you applied for a council house, the council would give you 3 sets of keys and say, go look at 3 houses and pick the one you want. Nowadays, with 7,000 people on the council house waiting list in Ashfield, you've got virtually no chance of ever getting a council house. Yet, Parliament thinks it's a good idea to let over 1 million people a year enter our country. That's hundreds of thousands of extra people putting more pressure on our public services while decent, hard-working Brits can't get a dental appointment, a GP appointment, or a school place for their kids. He's fed up with watching hard-working Brits struggle while illegal migrants get free stays in 4-star hotels. More than 150,000 people have crossed the channel illegally, and instead of getting tough on it, the government has rolled out the red carpet. Meanwhile, taxpayers, the very people who built this country, are drowning under higher taxes, rising energy bills, and a cost of living crisis that won't quit. And it's not just about immigration. Anderson spoke about something bigger: the feeling that Britain isn't Britain anymore. The rules have changed, but not in favor of those who play by them. Owning a home feels like a distant dream. Seeing a doctor? Get in line if you can. Crime is out of control, and the people in charge seem more focused on online hate speech than on actual criminals wrecking communities. And where's Keir Starmer in all this? Promising change but delivering nothing. Anderson, like many others, isn't buying it. And the British public, their patience is running out. We are mind-depleting nations like those in Africa, India, and the subcontinent. We're taking their best specialists, and medical attendants, bringing them here, and it's off base. These individuals ought to remain in their own nations to help them create and improve. In a perfect world, I totally concur with you. However, for that to occur, and as somebody who needs to focus on English interests, we want individuals arranged to do such positions. Also, I'm not simply discussing specialists. I'm discussing individuals who will really focus on our older, to change the stack of our folks when they are biting the dust. In the event that we don't have those individuals, or on the other hand in the event that we're not paying them enough, then indeed, we should get individuals. In any case, we shouldn't need to. We have a large number of individuals in this country, financially dormant, sitting at home day in and day out. This isn't simply legislative issues. This is about the eventual fate of the UK. On the off chance that things continue to go how they are, Anderson's discourse won't be an admonition, it'll be a tribute. Lee Anderson didn't simply discuss the issue, he put numbers to it. More than 150,000 transients have crossed the English Channel unlawfully. That is not theory, it's reality. While conventional Brits battle with lease, bills, and rising food costs, a significant number of these appearances are living in 4-star lodgings. The public authority says it's a transitory arrangement. In any case, we should separate it. These lodgings cost citizens £8 million every day, that is almost £3 billion per year. Cash that could support clinics, schools, or even quit raising government expenditures for battling families. All things being equal, it's being spent on free convenience, dinners, and advantages for the individuals who didn't adhere to the guidelines to arrive. Know this, the UK has concocted 51% of the relative multitude of world's developments throughout recent years. Incredible. When it comes to developments, yet we can't concoct anything to stop the little boats. In the interim, English troopers getting back from administration rest harsh in the city. Retired people are compelled to pick either warming and food. Working families cut back on basics while their duty cash subsidizes and stays for individuals who showed up wrongfully. Does that sound fair? Furthermore, it's not only the expense, it's the tension. Schools, emergency clinics, lodging, everything is at its limit. However, the entryways stay open, and the numbers continue to climb. The public authority talks intense, yet the boats continue to come. We want to manage movement. We want to manage protection. There are many major problems in this nation, and all we get today is a report from the public authority about bringing back non-disdain violations, harmful words. I despair. The migration issue needs to be dealt with, and it's not being addressed at all, is it? And who's paying for all this? The British taxpayer, the same people who already face record tax burdens, squeezed incomes, and a cost of living crisis. They work, they contribute, they follow the law, only to watch their hard-earned money handed over without question. Anderson's message was clear: enough is enough. Owning a home used to be a milestone. Now it feels like a fantasy. Wages haven't kept up. In the past, house prices were around 3.5 times the average income. Now it's nearly 6 times, pricing out an entire generation. While Brits struggle to get on the property ladder, the government keeps opening the doors to more people. Immigration isn't just about numbers, it's about space. More people need homes, and the UK simply doesn't have enough. Demand skyrockets, prices go up, and ordinary working people are pushed out of the market. Buy-to-let landlords scoop up properties, charging sky-high rents because they know people have no choice. Families stuck in rented accommodation watch prices climb further out of reach. First-time buyers are forced to live with their parents well into their 30s, saving for deposits that never seem to be enough. Yet the government keeps bringing in more people, knowing full well there aren't enough houses. Social housing lists stretch for years. Homelessness rises. But instead of fixing the crisis, they keep adding to it. And these politicians tell us that mass migration is a great thing, that it makes us all better off. Idiots, the lot of them. I want my country back. The country I'm talking about would not tolerate this stupidity. It used to be different. Back in the day, if we had civil unrest on our streets, you could be sure our police would quickly be on the scene to restore order so decent folks could go about their daily lives. Lee Anderson didn't sugarcoat it: if you don't control immigration, you don't control housing. And right now, Britain has lost control of both. Getting a doctor's appointment in the UK feels like winning the lottery. Need a dentist? Good luck. NHS waiting lists have hit record numbers, and some patients are left waiting years for treatment. One man has been stuck in a hospital bed for years, not because he needs care, but because there's nowhere else for him to go. And it's not just hospitals. GP surgeries are overwhelmed. People call first thing in the morning, only to hear there are no appointments left. Try again tomorrow. The same story plays out at dentists. Some areas have no NHS dentists at all, leaving people to pull out their own teeth or travel miles for basic care. So what's causing this crisis? The government blames COVID, but the truth is the NHS has been struggling for years. And with mass immigration, the pressure has only grown. More people means more demand, but the number of doctors, nurses, and hospital beds hasn't kept up. The system is cracking under the weight. The government keeps talking about fixing the backlog, but the reality is it's getting worse. Instead of investing in services for the people already here, they keep adding to the strain. The problem is simple: more arrivals, more strain, longer waiting lists. You know, when Keir Starmer spoke a few months back, he mentioned something that seemed like a slip of the tongue: releasing the sausages. I thought it was just that, a slip. But no, he actually did it. What he's done is release some silly sausages and put them in his cabinet. Look at who's running the country: free gear, Keir. Rachel from accounts, you know the one, right? We've got the famous no-brainer Angela. Raina, Mad Miliband, the net zero fanatic. And let's not forget our very own mastermind, David Lammy. But this isn't meant to be funny. Britain's streets are no longer controlled by the people who live and work there. They belong to activists who can shut down cities while the police stand by and watch. Just Stop Oil protesters glue themselves to roads, block ambulances, and bring traffic to a standstill, all in the name of climate activism. Instead of stopping them, officers offer them water, pat them on the back, and make sure they're comfortable. Meanwhile, ordinary people are late for work. Parents miss school pickups. Businesses lose money. Truck drivers sit in endless queues while their goods spoil. One woman in labor was trapped in traffic for hours because of a roadblock. Yet the police seem more worried about being gentle with protesters than enforcing the law. Imagine telling people back in 1984, on the picket lines during the miners' strikes, I was there with my dad and family. Just imagine telling them that, fast forward 40 years, we'd see a bunch of undernourished vegans, grey-haired, armed with Just Stop Oil high-vis vests, entering London and bringing the whole capital to a standstill. And the Metropolitan Police? They'd do nothing apart from dance the Macarena. While activists roam free, police officers are busy monitoring Facebook posts. Post something they don't like? Expect a knock on the door. People have been arrested for memes, jokes, even expressing the wrong opinion. Meanwhile, knife crime is soaring, burglaries go unsolved, and gangs run riot. Britain is at a breaking point. Law-abiding citizens feel like second-class citizens. When the police care more about feelings than felonies, people start asking, who are they really here to protect? Even Elon Musk, a man with no stake in British politics, couldn't stay quiet. I kid you not, how can this be real? They're releasing convicted criminals from prison to make space for people jailed over Facebook posts. When UK police arrested a man for posting an internet meme, Musk called it out for what it was, a dystopian police state. He mocked Britain's priorities, questioning why authorities were more focused on online speech than actual crime. His words hit a nerve because they weren't just criticism, they were the truth. When someone like Musk speaks, people listen. His comments weren't just a passing remark, they ignited a debate. The UK government tried to brush it off, but they couldn't ignore the fact that millions agreed with him. The question wasn't whether Musk was right, it was, how did Britain get to this point? Those spreading lies and misinformation far and wide aren't interested in victims, they're interested in themselves. And then there's Keir Starmer, the man who promised change but has delivered nothing. His words sound good in speeches, but the reality? The British public is still waiting. Waiting for leadership. Waiting for real solutions. But patience is running out. Polls show growing dissatisfaction with Starmer's lack of action. Voters aren't interested in vague promises anymore, they want results. Lee Anderson made it clear, people are angry, they're frustrated. They've watched their country decline while politicians sit in Westminster pretending everything is fine. It's not fine. And if things don't change soon, the British people won't wait for politicians to fix it. They'll take matters into their own hands. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. You can watch more videos from us here.